Welcome back to Good Morning Interbike. We're here at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. It's the 2013 edition of the Interbike Trade Show. And we're talking once again to Tim Blumenthal from People for Bikes. People remember you as Bikes Belong.
Right.
Did you get a new job?
No, I kept the same job, and all we did was just consolidate and unify and focus everything under the People for Bikes name.
So it was the Bikes Belong Coalition for a long time. And really the mission is?
To get more people riding bikes more often, but to fundamentally improve the conditions, make it safer, more appealing for everybody who wants to ride, to grow bicycling.
And a few years ago you started the People for Bikes campaign.
Right.
And everybody will remember there was the petition in their bike shop.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago here at Interbike you had the smiley face and you'd get up on the podium and take your photo. Why the name change?
Well, really, I think People for Bikes, first of all, it's well branded. It has a smiley face logo and then a black background that is clout and strength and clarity. And I actually think the name People for Bikes and the 770,000 supporters that we already have and the branding and the clarity and the simplicity all come together. And we said, let's make the most of this. Let's grow bicycling and the movement this way.
How does your organization do its work? Is it lobbying efforts? Is it tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, there really are 3 or 4 things. The backbone is going to be working with elected officials, and that will be lobbying, that will be fundraisers, that will be letting elected officials at all levels know what bicycling needs to be safe and appealing, okay?
Yeah.
Then we have a project, it's called the Green Lane Project, and what we're doing is in major cities all across the country, we're building separated and protected bikeways for people who aren't already experienced enough or confident enough to be out there mixed in traffic. And the fact is that most people aren't.
Right.
And so they really rally around protected bikeways, and then when bike sharing systems come in,
I was going to ask about that.
and they're combined with the protected bikeways, that's a great thing. And then the third thing that we do is we get influencers. We get people who aren't in the bike business, who maybe don't even ride a bike, but they're corporate CEOs from Fortune 50 companies. They're pro athletes who ride bikes, celebrities, NASCAR racers, people who are influencers in society. We're trying to bring them into the fold and get them behind bicycling, and I think we're going to be very successful with that.
Dorothy Rabinowitz from the Wall Street Journal called you the all-powerful bike lobby.
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard about that. Wouldn't you like to be the all-powerful bike lobby? Wouldn't that be awesome for the industry?
It would be awesome. We aspire to that, and actually we're very grateful for Dorothy Rabinowitz because somebody came along, she criticized bicycling, she said that it was nuts for New York City, and she said that the people who are pushing it are crazy. And I think we had a pretty succinct and powerful response.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know who lost that, and it was not the bike. It wasn't bike folks. I mean, I think that she was viewed as a bit off the cliff on that. But
I would never say that, but yes, you're right.
I did. You did. I do want to talk about bike share, though, because I'm a huge advocate for bike share. I love it.
Yeah.
Anywhere I go where bike share exists, I try to use it.
Right.
And I think what's wonderful about it is it's making bikes more visible in cities. It's bringing people back to bikes who maybe hadn't been on bikes since they were kids. It's showing them how bike commuting can fit into their lives in a way that just costs them a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we have them again as cyclists. Are you seeing the same thing?
This has been the summer of bike sharing in the United States, with the launch of the system in New York City, Chicago, San Francisco. There are now 45 or 47 systems nationwide.
LA's coming soon.
Yeah, LA is coming. Long Beach is coming. San Diego's not far behind.
Right.
There are a lot of cities in Texas. It's not just the usual suspects.
We have it in Salt Lake City.
Well, I've ridden it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was super great.
Yeah.
And the bikes are actually the best looking bikes of all.
Oh, good.
In Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
But you hit on the exact point, which is the combination of better places to ride and bike sharing is completely transforming not only bicycling in cities, but the actual living experience in cities.
Yeah,
for the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways, talking about the show, We're seeing more electric bikes. We're seeing electric bikes becoming more mainstream, if you will. We're seeing a lot more commuting bikes and cruiser bikes.
Yeah.
I like to think that bike share had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Bringing people into that lifestyle. But beyond that, it's very important then that, for instance, the green lanes, the protected lanes, as we have more people on bikes in cities, that we have those protected bikeways.
Yeah, the protected bikeways are super important, and any bike ride is only as good as its weakest moment. In other words, if it's safe, beautiful, safe, beautiful, safe, beautiful, and then you get to this 8-way intersection and you're just scared out of your mind, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So,
how has this show been for you? You've changed your name. How has it been received?
It's been superb, actually.
Good.
You know, we had high hopes. This is a big moment for us. Bikes Belong was around for 14 years. Our goal is 5x, to grow every measurement of bicycling by 5x in the next 12 years. And so we really wanted to make a splash here. I'm a little bit talked out from giving a lot of speeches, but we've signed up probably 300 or 400 retailers. We've had tremendous individual interest, and probably most important for this show, the reaction from the industry has been, we really understand this, we respect this, and we're 100% behind it.
You said you've signed up retailers.
Yeah.
What does that involve? What do you want? How can a retailer help people for bikes?
Yeah. So Bikes Belong had a retailer membership where stores would pay anywhere from $100 to a couple thousand. We no longer are even asking for money. What we want retailers to do is to encourage their customers to sign up for People for Bikes. And People for Bikes membership is free, okay? We will, 3 times a year, ask the million, or right now it's a little under 800,000. We'll ask everybody for money, and we'll activate them and connect them with local issues. But it's not about the money, it's about the clout and power and size of the movement. So we want retailers to, we have a beautiful Join the Movement point of purchase display. It's a new, very clear, it's nice looking, it's very simple. We want them to promote that. We'd like them to send 2 emails a year to their entire customer base saying, get behind People for Bikes. The more people who are behind People for Bikes, the better bicycling will be for everyone. Yeah,
I was going to ask you how consumers get involved, but you've just said, just join, and it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Join. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really imagine, you know, we don't bombard you with emails. We don't pester you. We provide some inspiration, some helpful information, and we tell the story of how bicycling is getting better in so many different ways all over the country.
That's great. I'm going to ask you to take that hat off, put your old media hat on for a moment.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to walk the show?
Yeah, I have.
What are you seeing? What are the trends? What's the buzz of the show?
Yeah, you know, it's never quite that simple.
Yeah,
you know, as journalists, we try to simplify it down to one thing. You know, I don't know what the exact footprint is, but this show has seemed like it's had very good energy. It seemed very, very busy yesterday and the opening day, and I felt that anywhere I went, it was packed. You know,
Agreed.
I pay most attention right now to what's going on in what I would call the commuting, the transportation, half the trips that Americans make, half, are 3 miles or less.
Right.
So I'm thinking a lot about that. And there are more bikes and more bags and more lights and more helmets and more cargo things than I've ever seen before. And then at the same time, you know, on the other end, sort of the high-tech mountain bike, the high-tech road bike, I see a lot of good things. Nothing like that absolutely floors me, but it seems very energetic, very vibrant, and on the right track. So, but I'm very optimistic always. So
I've been saying, as I've been walking the show, that I'm seeing, and I hope some of the brands don't get mad, I'm not seeing huge innovation like we saw maybe 10 years ago, but what I'm seeing, maybe even more importantly, is maturation.
Yeah.
Maturation of e-bikes, of, as you said, commuting bikes, even some of the higher end, as you said, mountain bike and road bike technologies.
Sure.
That's a good thing for the industry.
No question.
Because a lot of times when new technologies come along, people are a bit hesitant to jump on board, but once it matures, everybody gets on board.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing a lot of maturation as I walk the show.
One more point. I see a lot of progress in the women's market.
Agreed.
And that's been a big theme of this show. There was an Outdoor Industry Women's Coalition event where our Vice President of Government Relations, Jen Dice, she received a Pioneering Women's Award.
It's great.
But the point is, and the point of that event and through the show here is that the women's market has so much potential, and we need to keep doing a lot better at selling to women, engaging women as leaders in the bike industry, and we need to sort of shake it up, and that's happening.
My wife, who's a high-end cyclist, would completely agree with everything you just said.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good.
And you're right, because we need to engage more women. We need to get more people, more women, feeling comfortable when they walk into their bike shop, when they get on their bike, when they go out on the road, and we need to make sure that we've got the products that are for them. Not like we used to say, shrink it and pink it. It's got to be, be the right product for them.
And the countries that have the most bicycling and are best for bicycling, more women ride than men.
That's right.
Yeah.
Netherlands, best example.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Tell everybody again where they can get more information on People for Bikes and join.
Yeah.
As you said, join the movement.
Yeah, join the movement. It's free. It's simple. And we need People for Bikes to be everywhere, okay? And it'll really help the bicycling experience. And not just on a national basis, locally. It's peopleforbikes.org.
Excellent. Tim, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Interbike. Stay subscribed to our YouTube channel. We're going to have more content from right here at the 2013 edition of the Interbike Trade Show, so stay tuned.